Willie D Live.
What's up, family? If it's your first time checking out the show, let me know what city, what state you're coming in from. If you're outside of the U.S., let me know what country you're representing. Throw up the flag. Family, I need you to smash up the likes, smash up the likes, smash up the likes. Also, if you have not done so already on YouTube after you subscribe, there's a little bell next to your subscribe button. Go ahead. Click that thing right now so you can get your notifications each time I drop a new video like this. That way you'll be in the loop. I'll let a few hundred of y'all come in, then I'm going in. But in the meantime, in between time, I'm going to give some shouts out to the early birds, starting with Don. Robert Simmons. What's up, Rob? Connie Hodge. Teleporter. What it do, Candy? I see you, Dark 8. Well, what it do, Alicia Smith? Amber, what's up? Amber Shiro. Okay. Amber Shiro. Okay, what up? Connie Upson, what it do? Carisha, I see you. Patricia and Carisha. Let's see. Who is that? Dee Dee. What up, Dee Dee? Sean Pimpin. What's up? Valerie Brunson. What's up? Jabron Thompson. Is that Jabron or is that Gabron? No, that's Jabron. Okay, Larry Williams. Miss Treasy. Okay, I'm going in, fam. I'll come back to the comments. Going in, got a packed show for y'all. Got a lot to talk about. We are going to be covering the Michigan head coach who lost his job behind some booty. Yeah, man, we're going to talk about him. We're going to talk about Derek Graves. Derek Graves, who was sentenced to 2 life terms plus 100 years in prison. We got Cassie's male escort who has forced her to lawyer up. Get your money ready. Get your bag ready because I'm coming for it. Yeah. Fam, we got a uncivilized mutt in Texas who caged her foster daughter. Yeah. We got another uncivilized mutt, a 15-year-old who killed his girlfriend's mother and 2 of her siblings, all because she didn't want to be with that mutt anymore. Good Lord. When they do that, fam, it's just a reminder that the person actually made the right choice by breaking up with him. Yeah, you know, this fool did dirty to her family or whatever, but it just goes to show you, fam, that the uncivilized mutts, they are running amok. And oftentimes when people leave these crazy weirdos alone, it's because of that. And when they go out and commit these types of acts of violence, it's just further proof that a person actually had it right. They had it figured out all along. Well, I guess it wasn't all along, because if it was, it would have never happened in the first place. They would have never gave that mutt the time of the day. We got Donald Trump shaking in his boots butt naked. Yeah, man, he's shaking in his boots butt naked because there are some new Epstein photos out. And Donald Trump, your president, is all over the photographs. He's all in the video, dancing, romancing. Yeah, fam. Yeah, it's wild out there. Yeah. But first, before we do any of this, fam, we talk about any of these things, we're going to get into this story of this white man who has come out to say that white people are the problem in America. There's a lot of finger pointing going on now. A lot of finger pointing. But he says that, hey, man, despite what some white folks might believe, despite what some black folks and Asians and Latinos and the Arabs and all of them may believe, he says, living in his white skin, his experience, and from everything he's seen, it is white folks who is the problem in America and around the world. Can you imagine that? Yeah. This guy name he goes by Paul for Equality. Paul for Equality on Instagram. And as you can see, fam, he's shaking things up. You can look at some of these titles and you can kind of see his consistency. If Trump is a Christian, so is Satan. Damn! The most dangerous candidate in Texas. And he questions if America really is a Christian nation. Just a reminder, Charlie Clark, Charlie Kirk. Tim Pool, capitalism, whore. Oh, man, wow. So I didn't even get down that far. I was just really, really focused on this one video in question where he talked about how white folks is the problem in America. Now, before you go to jumping to conclusions and think you got it all the way figured out, I want to make sure that y'all hear him out, but I also want to make sure you hear me out because I have an addendum to his statement. But here's what he had to say about it.
Middle Passage, white people. Slavery, white people. Jim Crow, white people. Lynchings, white people. Trail of Tears, white people. Wounded Knee, white people. Asian internment camps, white people. The vast majority of gun violence, white people. You see a trend? January 6th, white people. Ahmaud Arbery, 3 white guys. George Floyd, white guys. The felon in the White House, a white man. You see a trend? But somehow, the white man has convinced stupid, uneducated, trailer park trash, 3-teeth inbreds, white supremacists, Triple K members, that the brown people picking your almonds and your walnuts and your lettuce and your avocados, somehow they're the fucking problem. They're not. We are. And until we grasp that, we can blame and sit here with all of these left bro podcasters and the Pod Save America and the Midas Touches and talk about, oh, it's the cost of eggs. It's the cost of gas. Fuck it is. No, it's not. Why haven't we had a woman president? Why did we go from a black president to the most corrupt white man in the history of our country? Why did the majority of white people, the only demographic that didn't vote for Harris, and that same demographic didn't vote for Zohran Mamdani? Because we're the problem. Because there is a chunk of this country that is afraid that the white majority is going away. And they're going to kick and scream like little children, like Santa Claus taking away your present, because they think that their traditional family values is going away. And this country and the Republican Party has done a good job of indoctrinating a bunch of white men. And just me saying this, leave this country, lib, that's indoctrination. It's a fact. Every sentence, this is how it goes. Once upon a time, freedom, God, Jesus, freedom, freedom, Second Amendment. I went on vacation to Hawaii, freedom, Second Amendment, freedom, freedom, bed-bald eagles, freedom, the greatest in the world. This is how their brains are working because they don't have critical thinking. They've been indoctrinated. And for them to be woke, which means actually seeing this country for what it is, it's breaking their brains because they've been lied to their entire life, and their version of American exceptionalism is bullshit. And they know it is, and they don't want it to be because they want their whiteness to keep them at the top of the food chain. Have yourself a white day.
Have yourself a very little white day. May your something be something. Y'all heard him, fam. What do y'all think about that? Is he on point? Give me a thumbs up if you think he's on point. Thumbs down if you say, nah, man, he out of pocket. He got it all wrong. Dude is delusional. He don't know what he's talking about. He needs to shut up. Let's see what y'all thinking. Let me go into the comments and see what y'all thinking about this. Fed up, Fetty up, Brandon up, Joyce up, David up. Lord Walk up, Connie up, Cass up, China Carter up, Eric up, Michael up, Darnell up. So it looks like you guys are in agreement. This is one of the few times where everybody's in agreement. All thumbs up. Mike up. Chevy up. Everybody's up. Up. And I'll go ahead and put my up in there too, because the thing is this. Somehow, some way, with all of these atrocities that have happened, they figured out a way to make others believe, including Black people believe, that Black people are somehow the biggest problem on the planet. It is just amazing. What it made me realize is how smart some of them are and how slow many of us are. And when I say many of us, I'm talking about the world over. Because you got to be short bus window licking slow to have all of this information at your fingertips, to be able to witness this stuff in real time and not see where the biggest problem is, the source of the biggest problem. Now, I want to be clear about something here, fam. This particular conversation is not about blaming everyday people. It is not about blaming every white person, because there are white people out there. There have been white people throughout history who have risked more than many Black people have. There have been white people who have given their life, given up their social status, who have been financially ruined for helping Black people, for helping Native Americans, assisting Black and brown people around the world. They have been executed. So this is not about blaming every white person. But here's the thing. There are documented harms that have been carried out by U.S. institutions, laws, and movements that were largely controlled by white Americans at the time. And the lasting damage those actions caused to others are immeasurable. That is a fact. You can try to whitewash it all you want. You can try to act like it does. You can try to bulldoze people's opinions all you want. You can get mad all you want. But the funny thing about all of this to me is not really funny, but the weird thing about all of this is some of you proudly declare your racism. You're proud of the hangings, the lynchings. You're proud of your ancestry's murderous ways. Yet, if somebody mentions it outside of your tribe, you get offended. If you don't like being called a racist, why do you work so hard at being a racist? You know, if somebody was a killer, we just call him a killer, right? If they're a killer, we call him a killer, and everybody say, okay, he's a killer. Even the killer gonna say, don't call me no killer. I'm not a killer. Yeah, your ass is a killer. History does not move by accident. It moves through policy, power, and enforcement. So let me break it down for you. I am going to list some of the things that he mentioned, that Paul mentioned. I'm going to list some of the things that he mentioned. And I am going to provide more context to the consequences of some of these things that were done at the behest of white people in America and their allies around the world. So let's start with slavery. That's always a good start. Slavery and racialized forced labor. I'm going to tell you the effects of it and the impact that it has even today. So, for over 240 years, the United States legally enslaved millions of Africans and their descendants. Let me make sure that you guys can hear me. You hear me okay? Okay, good. Slavery was protected by federal and state law. This is for all you bastards who can't figure out why people are still upset. Why on a daily basis we talk about slavery and its impact. This is for the slow pokes, the ones who think you're smart, but you're really dumber than a bag of rocks. A person can't explain to you enough. You just it don't compute because you're slow. But let me tell you the effects. You tell me when I'm lying. I am going to tell you what they did, what people like you did, what people who ass you kiss did, and you tell me where the lie is. So we had for over 240 years, the United States legally enslaved millions of Africans and their descendants. Slavery was protected by federal and state law. Was it or was it not? Enslaved people were treated as property, not human beings. Were they or were they not? Families were separated through sale and violence. Were they or were they not? Enslaved women were routinely raped with no legal recourse. Were they or were they not? After emancipation, formerly enslaved people received no land, no compensation, and no protection. Following slavery, forced labor continued through black codes, convict leasing, and chain gangs, systems designed to re-enslave people through the criminal justice system. Indigenous genocide and land theft. This is for those of you who say, well, the blacks, this is black, the Native Americans, they're not saying anything because you scared them to death. You scared them into hiding and chunked them a couple of casinos and said, nice doing business with you. The expansion of the United States depended on the removal and destruction of native nations. Mass killings and forced removals, such as the Trail of Tears. Broken treaties used to steal land and resources. Deliberate destruction of food sources to cause starvation. Native children taken from families and placed in boarding schools. Forced sterilization of Native women well into the 20th century. I'm going to pause right there because I want the white people who comes across this video, I want you to think about all of this stuff I'm telling you that was done that's easily documented. This is law. This is easy to research. This is all truth. I want you to think about if all the stuff that I'm listing was done to white people, would you still be so confident about saying, well, all you got to do is just pull yourself up from the bootstrap? You got the same chances I got. You got the same opportunities I got. I don't understand what's wrong. I don't understand. What's the problem? What's the problem? What's the problem? I want you to think for a minute. I know for some of y'all that's hard to do. I want you to think about that, what I just said. If all of this stuff was done to white people, how well off you think white people would be right now? Do you think white people would own media? Do you think white people would own Hollywood? Do you think white people would run the Oscars? Do you think they would be owning all the NFL teams? Do you think they would be majority head coaches and in the executive positions? Do you think they would be running corporate America? Do you think that they would be running Congress? Do you think that they would be the majority in every single major institution in this country? Jim Crow laws and racial terror. After slavery, segregation was legally enforced for nearly a century. So this is for all y'all who say, wow, man, that was 150 years ago. They've been free since 1865. They should have figured it out by now. I just told your dumb ass, for after slavery, for nearly 100 years after slavery, that's 1865 to 1965, segregation was legally enforced for nearly a century. Schools, housing, transportation, and employment was segregated by law. Lynchings were used as public terror tactics to maintain racial control. Entire Black communities were destroyed in race massacres such as Tulsa, Wilmington, and Rosewood. Voting was suppressed through violence, poll taxes, and literacy tests. Courts and law enforcement routinely sided with perpetrators. Let me say that again for all of you who say, well, we don't have the best. We don't have a perfect legal system, but we have the best legal system. The best for who, sons of bitches? For who? The best for who? When the law, Johnny Law, and the courts, the judicial system that is supposed to keep all of its citizens safe, that is supposed to make sure that people are not taken advantage of, are complicit to the gangsterism perpetrated against innocent people. Economic exclusion and wealth stripping. Wealth in America was not built equally. You get it now? Do you understand that part now? Do you understand why white folks got so much now? Wealth in America was not built equally. Redlining blocked black families from home ownership, which every single economist you talk to will tell you that that is the simplest, easiest, most logical way to wealth building. But it was blocked on purpose by your government, your financial institutions. The GI Bill largely excluded black veterans. These are people who went and fought for this country, put their lives on the line, and they came back and could not get a loan from the very damn country. They couldn't get no action. They gave their lives. Actually, the irony is that if it wasn't for these black soldiers, the lifestyle that these white people continued to enjoy would not have been possible. Black businesses in towns were destroyed or denied insurance and loans. Did you hear what I said? This is for all y'all. Wait, no, you start a business. You start a business. The black businesses and towns were destroyed. So in order for something to be destroyed, that it has to have been in existence at some point, which means that, so black people did have businesses. They did have thriving towns and communities. They were self-governing. If they had towns and businesses, that means that they were capable of self-governing. But the jealous ass pockets of white folks who saw that happening said, let's destroy that. We can't have them doing things on their own. We need them dependent on us so we can control them. Labor unions often barred black workers. Again, no protection. Wages were suppressed while profits were extracted. These policies created the racial wealth gap that still exists today. This is for you slow pokes who just be wondering, why can't they just get it together? Why can't they what's wrong with you, dumb dummy? I'm telling you what it is. But some of you are so slow, you still ain't gonna get it. I'm breaking it all the way down to you. As a reminder, make sure you tell me when I tell a lie. Let me know when I'm lying. Just blurt it out. You're lying. Just let me know when I'm lying. Let's talk about the economic exclusion and wealth stripping that was mandated by your government. Wealth in America was not built equal. Policing and mass incarceration. Oh, this is a good one right here. This is for all you mother. Boy, I can't stand you, mother. Woo, I can't stand you. This is for all y'all that there go the 13% again. Oh, the 13% again. The 13%, they're responsible for the 50% of the crime. Okay, dummies. Classes in session, dummies. This is why so many black people are in prisons. This is why so many black people are in jail. This is why so many black people are in the courtrooms every single day in America, from the civil courts to the criminal courts. This is why policing and mass incarceration, modern policing in the U.S. grew out of slave patrols. Okay? Many of us know that. We know that. What some of you don't know is Black Americans are disproportionately stopped, arrested, and sentenced. This is not happenstance. This is by design. Your local law enforcement has been mandated to profile Black people. Your local law enforcement has been mandated to arrest Black people, to harm Black people, to over-investigate Black people. Your local judicial system, your local municipalities are all in the same game. The judges, the prosecutors, they have all been mandated to judge Black people with a heavy hand. The war on drugs targeted Black and brown communities despite similar drug use rates. Mandatory minimums created mass incarceration. Prison labor allows incarcerated people to work for little or no pay. If you can get somebody to work for little or no pay, you already don't like them. You want to control them. What better way? Man, we can kill two birds with one stone. We can get them out of the way and make them work for pennies or for free. All we got to do is put a charge on them and put them in jail. Or all we got to do is make sure that we max out their sentences. When they do something wrong, make sure we max them out. This guarantees a prison labor force. Police misconduct is often shielded from accountability. Again, because it's been mandated. So they do what they do. Not because of some type of lone wolf thinking or programming. This is their culture, man. This is code. This is written in the code. Oh, and by the way, Black cops do not kill because or at the rate that white cops kill, not because they're somehow inherently better, but because they're going to be held accountable. Remember when the black cop, the dude named Muhammad in Minnesota, killed the white Australian woman who called him to her house because she had heard some suspicious sounds outside of her house. She called the police to come check it out. And she walked up to his car and spooked him, and he turned and shot her. They gave his ass 20 years so fast and gave her a big old check so fast there was no need to protest because they were operating within code. You, black officer, can't do what white officers do. This is why you don't see black officers out here acting a damn monkey. You don't see them out here acting a monkey like white cops. Let's talk about the medical abuse and experimentation. The United States medical system has a long record of racial abuse. Enslaved people were used to or for experimentation without consent. The Tuskegee syphilis experiment allowed Black men to die untreated. Women of color were forcibly sterilized. Pain treatment was withheld due to racist beliefs. Henrietta Lacks cells were taken and used without her permission. These practices fueled generational mistrust in healthcare. So now your dumb ass know why Black people don't like going to the damn doctors. It ain't that they don't care about their health. It's not that they don't want to be healthy. It's not that they don't want to live a long life. It is because doctors have systematically abused Black people. So even when Black people do go to the doctor, they have to be extremely proactive about their treatment. And they have to be their own advocates because ain't nobody else gonna do it for them because the doctors are programmed to not care. Immigration and ethnic targeting. American immigration policy has repeatedly targeted non-white groups. You see it happening right now. Everything I'm talking about is still going on right now. All of the remnants of slavery passed down is still happening today, just in different forms. Even slavery itself is still going on right here today in the United States of America, and it's legal. So, Chinese Exclusion Act banned Chinese immigration. The Japanese Americans were placed in internment camps. Mexican Americans, listen up, Mexicans, all of you Mexicans out there who think you're special, who don't want to see anybody else come to America and have some type of chance. The ones out there who think, Donald Trump, you big dummy. Mexican Americans were deported during mass expulsions. Who's the number one target right now for immigration? Mexicans. Mexicans. Who's number two? Haitians. Again, people of color. There have been no resistance for white immigrants to come to America. In fact, they're on the fast track to citizenship. While everybody else has been deemed a problem. Immigration quotas favored white Europeans then and now. Families were separated through enforcement policies. Citizenship was never applied evenly. Never, ever. Foreign intervention and imperial power. The U.S. has caused harm beyond borders, overthrowing elected governments. This is for all you out there who think, oh man, America is free, we're going to liberate the other countries, and Before I get into this, let me explain something to you. There has never been a time in history where America has invaded a foreign land and the people of that foreign land were better off after they were invaded than they were before. Never. But the idea is to get you dummies to believe every time we go invade another country that is for the good of the people in that country. It's never for the good of the people. It's always for resources. It's always for land and minerals and jockeying for regional positions, for military operations, for military posts. Dummy. Supporting dictators and death squads. Overthrowing elected officials. Wars based on false premises. Some of us have seen that in our lifetime. Exploitation of labor and resources abroad. Weapons testing and environmental damage to foreign nations. These actions produce instability and mass civilian deaths. And that's what happens every time America go to invade a country, whether they say we're coming for revenge or we're coming to liberate. These actions produce instability and mass civilian deaths. We're at war with some nations right now, but they're covert operations. If not for the internet, there would be a lot more cases where they're going in and invading and destroying stuff. See, now that we got the internet, they can't just control the media like they used to. They used to be able to control the whole narrative with ABC, CBS, NBC, and CNN. Then came Fox. They used to be able to control everything with them. But now the internet blowed it wide open. Knocked the hinges off the information. So now they can't hide it. They can't silence people like they used to be able to silence people. So now they're trying more covert ways to do what they do. Let's talk about cultural erasure and appropriation. Culture was erased while profits were extracted. Indigenous languages and traditions were banned. Sacred artifacts and these other expensive and priceless gems were stolen. Remains were stolen. Think about what I'm saying, fam. Sacred remains were even stolen. Black music and culture were monetized without credit or ownership. That still goes on today. History books minimized or erased these realities. That's still going on today. Ain't that part of that 2025? Ain't that part of your man Trump's initiative? So here's the ongoing impact. These harms did not end in the past. The racial wealth gap remains policy-driven. Policy-driven, which means they are writing things into law to make sure that that wage gap widens even more. Environmental racism poisons marginalized communities. Schools are funded by unequal property taxes. Voting rights continue to be restricted. Civil rights protections are regularly rolled back. The effects are once again immeasurable, and ongoing. So to all the dummies out there, and it's a lot of you, it's a lot of y'all. Anytime you want to question why Black people are asking for reparations, or why, they just don't seem to be doing as well as everybody else overall. Yeah, they got some people out there doing well and all that stuff, but it just seems like it's just so many of them that are not just one. I can't understand it, because I go to school, and if I want to get ahead, I just work harder. So now you have the information. What are you going to do with it? I suspect if it took this long for you to learn it, your dumb ass don't want to know the truth. Or you just don't care about the truth. And you're going to maintain the position that you've always had because you're an uncivilized mutt. And the truth don't matter. You want what you want, and that's what you want. So, in closing, I'd like to say this. None of this required every white American to participate. It required laws. It required enforcement. And it required silence. Now, for all of y'all who know that this happened, who see it happening right now, and you think that as long as you're not saying the N-word, or you're not particularly shooting somebody Black illegally, as long as you are nice and a good person, well, everything's good. No. Silence is complicit. So that means if you see bad things happening, if you see bad things happening to good people, if you see people being harmed in any way, and all your ass do is sit back and observe, you ain't no better than the perpetrator. In fact, you're a perpetrator too. You ain't no better than the next person. You're just like them. Perhaps even worse, because you got somebody out there thinking you're a friend. Understanding this history is not about guilt. Listen to me I'm trying to help you. I just haven't gotten to the point where I'm one of those guys who hate all white people. I just haven't got that yet. I ain't got that yet. But I'm just trying to tell you that I want you to understand the history. That's why I just ran all of those items down. I want you to understand, to get a really good understanding of the history. And then, whatever decision you want to make out of that, hey, it's whatever. But I just wanted to give you a good understanding of the history. It's not about guilt. It's about accountability, truth, and refusing to lie about how we got here. That's what it's about. You can't fix what you refuse to name. All right, fam. Wow. We covered a lot of space with that. I didn't mean to go really that long, but I had to give it to you raw. You know what I'm talking about? I had to give it to you raw, unfiltered. Fam, let's get into this story about this guy, Derrick Groves. Derrick Groves was a fugitive for a while who broke out of a jail in Louisiana. The dude dressed up as a woman and everything. He was trying to get away, boy. That boy was trying to run. And he was on the run for several months. he escaped with eight other inmates. And one by one, they tracked him down. I think one of them even killed himself. But they finally caught up with him a couple of months ago, and he was sentenced for his crimes. This guy had killed not one, not two, not three, but 4 people, 2 homicides in separate incidents. He killed 2 people, then he killed 2 other people. He robbed some people. This dude was a bad actor. Family, check it out.
Groves was sentenced for the 2018 Mardi Gras murder of 2 men. That sentencing comes 2 months after he was found in Atlanta following that historic jailbreak from the Orleans Justice Center. Alyssa Curtis was at the DA's office today.
Derek Groves will spend the rest of his life in prison. Friday, he was sentenced to 2 consecutive life sentences plus an additional 100 years.
And if you remember that jailbreak footage that was running, the first person out the gate, the fastest one, the one out the longest, was Mr. Groves.
Months after he was captured in Atlanta and years after his legal process began, Derek Groves has finally been sentenced. Groves was convicted back in October of 2024 for killing 2 men on Mardi Gras Day in 2018. Jamar Robinson and Byron Jackson, 2 others, were injured.
I think the biggest shock for me is just how evil some people can be, and evil to the point of it's funny to you.
Groves was initially convicted in 2019, but a new law requiring a unanimous jury for felony cases sent it back to a courtroom. Then a mistrial and a deadlocked jury drew the process out even more. After his final conviction, logistical issues like a recused judge and lawyer changes kept pushing back this last step.
This is the end of a very, very harrowing saga for this office, for this community. But more importantly for these 2 families. They have had to be traumatized over and over again.
And the May jail escape was just another, and exemplified his attitude toward his violent behavior, if you ask District Attorney Jason Williams.
The escape, I think, only amplifies and manifests his association with violence and accountability and what it means to live in a civilized community.
Williams says the national attention the escape brought forgot one key piece.
Every crazy comment, every crazy conspiracy is just a level of disrespect to people who were only trying to enjoy a Mardi Gras day.
Groves will serve his sentence at Angola. That's where he and his fellow 9 escapees have been held since they were all recaptured. Reporting in front of the district attorney's office, Alyssa Curtis, WWL, Louisiana.
So let me, for the captors of Derek Groves, I ain't got no problem with that. That's what law enforcement should be for. Enforcing the law. Go out there and get real killers. Stop killing innocent people. Go out there and find people who are real dangers to society, real threats. Derek Groves is an uncivilized mutt that needs to be put down. That's right, I said it. He's an uncivilized mutt who needs to be put down. He's in jail. He's actually in court, handcuffs, in an orange uniform, being told what's going on with the proceedings by his lawyer, and he's laughing it up. He's blowing kisses. When he got arrested, he was blowing kisses to the camera. This uncivilized mutt should have been gone. There should be no place of refuge for an uncivilized mutt in society. We cannot protect these uncivilized mutts. I don't give a damn what their skin color is. We cannot protect these uncivilized mutts. We should frown on these uncivilized mutts when they come around us. You did what? killed who and why? You done killed 4 members of our society. You killed 4 members. You destroyed 4 families. You did all of that, and for what? Nah, man, get this mutt from around me, man. I don't hang around mutts like that. You don't get no respect from me. I have no love for somebody like that. No respect whatsoever. These types are cancerous. They're cancers to society. There is no place for an uncivilized mutt amongst the civilized. They gave his ass 2 life terms plus 100 years. So yeah, he ain't never gonna get out. But here's the thing. Because he has nothing to lose, he could easily end up killing somebody else in jail. Now, I know some people don't think like that. They think like, well, if he kills somebody else in jail, then it's just another inmate. And that inmate probably needed to die because he probably did some things bad in society and woo, woo, woo. You think because somebody sold some drugs, they should be murdered in prison? You think because somebody stole some food out the store, they should be murdered in prison? Yeah. You think because somebody committed fraud, they should be murdered in prison? I ain't talking about fraud where you stole $1 billion and 5 people jumped off the top of a roof to kill themselves, because you bankrupted them. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about somebody who stole $50,000 from the bank. You really think that person deserves to just die in prison? You think that person deserves to get killed? You think that person is equal to this uncivilized mutt who murdered 4 people? Come on, fam. We gotta think a little bit more critical than that. Yeah, this clown right here, they should have given him the death penalty. Even if the death penalty was not available, they should have went in and made a new law right there on the spot. It probably wouldn't even been a protest, not even from his own law. How do you even represent somebody like that? Yeah, they gave his ass an asylum sentence. It was not planned. If I was the judge, I would have let the family members make contact. Yeah, man. I'll let the family members make contact. I'd be like, you know what? Say, man, y'all want to get at him? What y'all want to do, man? How y'all want? Okay, what we gonna do? He gonna be sitting at the table. Woo woo. All y'all gotta do is come up there and handle your business. We're gonna let the guards step outside. The guard gonna step outside for a minute, and y'all got 1 minute to handle your business. You got 60 seconds to handle your business. Hey, whatever you want to do, you got 60 seconds to handle your business. I straight up do it. Couldn't be me. And I saw some people talking about that's excessive. Excessive? You damn fool. Are you an uncivilized mutt? You can't give an uncivilized mutt enough time. You can't give somebody who just arbitrarily kill people. You can't give them enough time. They have no place in a civilized society. He has to go. Yeah, they are absolutely lucky that I was not the judge. Because, oh yeah, I would allow the family to make contact. Even if the family wasn't thinking about making contact. If the family wasn't thinking about making contact, I would have been like, I would have walked over there like, hey, let me talk to y'all. I would have walked out there. I would have had my robe on and everything. Walked over there in the hallway where the family be sitting there and stuff. Walk out there. Look, hey, look. I'm gonna step out for a minute, and I'm gonna call recess. I'm gonna step out for a minute, and I'm gonna call a quick recess so that way his lawyer don't have to. We don't have to take him back into the holding tank. I'm gonna call recess for 5 minutes. While I'm gonna step out, and then that's gonna give the officers of the court a chance to step out. When they step out, what I need you to do, if y'all want to, I ain't saying you need to do this, but I'm just saying, if y'all want to, y'all can do, y'all can go over there and, throw them a party if you want to. Y'all can greet them and say what's up. It's up to y'all. You know what I'm talking about? They be like, I think I know. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Yeah. Now y'all go ahead now. Now y'all got to be on time because, like we coming down the stretch and this might be the only time you're going to really get a chance to get them. So handle your business. And then I look at one of the other family members and I was like, hey, take him with you. Hey, go on in there, little man, get you some of that action, man. Yeah. Oh, yeah, I would absolutely be one of them judges. Come in my courtroom. I know you did it. I know you guilty. You killed 4 people. For what and why? Oh, man, I'm letting the family have at your ass. I'm letting them get at you. I'm going to let the family get at you. Yeah. Y'all come on in, man. Come on in. Come on in. I handle your business. Yeah. Yeah. They didn't give him enough time. They gave him 100 years. They didn't give him enough time. I mean, he's going to die in prison, but yeah, I would have had to just do it for lanyard. I would have just done it just on GP. Like, you know what? I'm giving your ass an extra 900 years. Just on GP, 900 years. In fact, whatever the longest sentence that has ever been handed down, that's what I give his ass. No love, no love, no empathy whatsoever. That uncivilized mutt was sitting up in the courtroom after he had killed all of those people, and he's sitting up in there blowing kisses. He's a monster. He should have been brought to heel a long time ago. So I feel nothing. Let's talk about this guy. This guy right here has been having a hard week. He's had a very difficult week. This is Sharon Moore, who is was the coach for Michigan. Yeah, fam. So Sharon was arraigned on 3 criminal charges, including felony home invasion on Friday, December 12th, 2 days after he was fired as Michigan head football coach. Sharon appeared virtually in a courtroom in Washtenaw County Jail wearing a white jail uniform. The former coach was mostly silent during the arraignment, other than when he answered basic questions asked by the judge. Sharon is charged with 3rd-degree home invasion, a felony, as well as stalking and entering without permission, both misdemeanors. The University of Michigan fired Sharon for cause on Wednesday, December 10th, saying it had evidence he'd engaged in an inappropriate relationship with a staff member. In a press release announcing the charges, prosecutors claim Moore allegedly unwillingly entered the dwelling of a victim with whom Mr. Moore had a dating relationship with. So he allegedly unlawfully entered the dwelling of a victim with whom Mr. Moore had a dating relationship with. During the arraignment, Assistant Prosecuting Attorney Katie Resmiski further outlined the alleged allegations against Moore, claiming he and the victim had been in a relationship for a number of years before she broke up with him on Monday, December 8th. Wow, damn, I didn't know that they had been in a relationship for years. Eventually, she presented herself to the University of Michigan, cooperated in some form of the investigation. So here's what they're saying happened. They say that that Sharon, who was in an inappropriate relationship with this woman right here, he was having an affair with the woman to the right. The woman on the left is his wife. So the woman on the right is the one he's been in the inappropriate relationship with for years, right? So allegedly, what happened is Sharon and the woman is having affairs. The word get back to the athletic director that Sharon and the woman is having an affair, but he don't have any proof. So the athletic director tell him, hey man, go back, I don't want to hear nothing else unless you bring some proof. So next thing you know, the proof comes with Sharon. They don't have the name of the person, but the person says that the person that's telling the story brings evidence forward saying that they have evidence that Sharon has been receiving Plan B pills to his office. The athletic director goes to Sharon and say, look, fix that. Whatever it is, I don't care, fix it. You either fire the person or move them to a different department. Sharon decides to fire the girl. When he fired her, she go back to the director and say, hey, we've been in a relationship, tell him everything. And that blew his cover. The athletic director immediately fired Sharon. And the house of cards just came tumbling down. So that's how he got caught up. That's how he got caught up. A woman scorned. A woman scorned. One could say he had no business at all stepping out on his wife. What you do that for, man? Fellas, let me explain something to you. If you value your wife, do not cheat on your wife. If you cheat on your wife with another woman, you cannot control that woman's emotions. In the very beginning of your relationship with that woman, she may be completely understanding, or at least appear to be completely understanding. But as time goes by and she gets more attached to you, she's going to want more of you. And those times when you get up out of the bed after y'all get through doing y'all thing and just go home, it's going to start wearing on her, and she's now going to want you to just continue to lay in that bed. She don't want you getting up, getting out of that bed. She wants you to stay there and comfort her, keep her warm. So what eventually happens is she put the pressure on you to make a choice. And then if you don't make that choice, out of desperation, she'll make it for you oftentimes. And she's going to go call your wife. She's going to tell your wife what's up. Now, this woman didn't go tell the wife what was up. She went and told the coach. She went and told the athletic director. And that blew the whole thing up. Now, here's the thing. The wife probably already knew about the affair. If this had been going on for years, I'm pretty sure the wife had some type of idea that some type of affair was going on. I'm pretty sure of that. I'm pretty sure if it was happening for years, because most men are not that good at cheating. Now, women, experts. Women are experts. Women take their time to just cover the bases. Man, we want to. When it comes to cheating, women play chess, men play checkers. That's why men get caught all the time. Women don't get caught nearly as much as men get caught. Men are just very basic cheaters. Men are very basic cheaters. Women be thinking about all kinds of things. Boy, some of the stuff they think of, I've actually seen some signs of certain dudes who do what women do. And it make me go like, that dude got a girl in him, right? Because only women think like that. No, women and men who behave like women think like that. Because there's certain things that a man does. It's certain like slick stuff, snake stuff that men do. I couldn't even think of. Like, I just don't even think like that. I'm not a snake. I'm not diabolical like that. I can be evil. But thinking like that, being like a snake, like thinking like, I can't think like a snake. I can't do that. But there's some dudes out there that are very good at doing it. But yeah, dude blew it. He blew everything. But guess what, family? This chick allegedly ain't the only one. After they won the national championship in 2024, this dude, Sharon, allegedly offered this girl right here and her friends season tickets to the University of Michigan games for a foursome. Yeah. So this sounds like to me that she's going to sue him. He's going to probably end up broke. He better start moving that money around right now. Because old girl was with him for years. She's not trying to leave empty-handed. She is going to make a move on his pockets. And not only is she going to make a move, let me get her off the screen because this is not the woman I'm talking about. Not only is this woman here going to make a move, the one to the right, not only is she going to make a move on his pockets, but other women, I'm sure there's other women out there. If he's DMing random women and he's approaching women in the streets and at the games, and oh man, this is just what we know of in just the last few days. This ain't the women that are right now sitting around having conversations with their friends, going like, I don't know, what you think I should do? I don't know. Girl, you better go get that money. I don't, but I just don't care about like, bitch, you gonna let them get paid and you don't get no pay, man. He did you wrong. That's it. Didn't he tell you he wasn't married? Get that money. Them friends gonna help him get that money. And then some of them are already talking to lawyers right now. They're talking to lawyers right now. Yeah, so what? Here's what he did this, Lawyer going like, And when he hugged you, when y'all hugged, when the first day that you met him and he hugged you, and you hugged him and you gave him your phone number. When he hugged you, his hand slipped down like just like right by your butt. No, it didn't. It didn't really slip. It was just a regular. No, I'm saying like when he hugged you, did his hand slipped by your butt, right? No, it didn't slip. It didn't slip by my butt. It was just a regular hug. And then I got it and I gave my number and then we kind of split and we were just on the phone. No. You listen to what I'm saying to you. because it's going to help your case. When he hugged you and he had his hand on your back, around your waist, then he had the other, and the hand came around your waist. Didn't you say that he touched your butt? Right? Yeah. Oh man. Buddy in trouble. Buddy's in trouble. This is just the beginning of his legal woes. This is just the beginning of his legal woes. He's in trouble. He is in trouble. The Pandora box is open. And these women are going to start coming out of the woodworks. Watch. I'll probably be reporting about a new woman sometime next week. We got the weekend right here now. So probably by the weekend, there'll be a new woman. I mean, within the week, I'm gonna put it like that. Within this week, there's gonna be a new woman. I'm pretty sure. Not hoping for it. Hope that the brother can fix this situation and he can get back right some kind of way. But he got an uphill battle. Majorly. Family. You know, Cassie been having some issues lately because this dude named Clayton Howard has been on her head. Clayton Howard has been making his rounds. He's been very vocal about his dealings with Sean Diddy Combs and Cassie. He talks about how freaky Cassie was and how she asked for it. He talks about how Cassie is not an angel. He wants his money for being abused by Cassie. He wants his good name restored from the embarrassment the Diddy case caused him. And check this out, family. He called Cassie a hoe.
Hand on them don't mean a woman can't be a hoe who likes large members and likes to sleep with a bunch of men. People,
Hold on. Let me get this right.
Man puts his hand on them don't mean a woman can't be a hoe who likes large members and likes to sleep with a bunch of men. People, probably the most damaging thing I'm about to say that people are not going to like is this. Audience, Cassie was a hoe. Cassie was a hoe who liked to sleep with guys who were good in bed, and I was one of those guys. It's a shame that I am being attacked, and all of these women want to make excuses for a woman who is a whore. Cassandra Ventura was a whore. She may not be a whore anymore. She grew up, she grew out of it. People change. It's okay. But that time of her life, she was a whore. She liked to have schmecks. She liked to schmuck Enos. She loved all of that, people. She used to do it for hours, and Diddy did not make her. The only thing Diddy used to make her do was stop when she was going too long, and that's the damn truth. Now, the sad part is that as the actual victim of this conspiracy, that I still don't get the same respect as Cassie because Diddy put his hands on her. Because she stole his phone and the damn freak off, and the man got caught on camera putting his hands on her. Suddenly, she's the Mother Teresa of domestic violence. People, this is a horrible misconception that is being totally manipulated by people because they need Cassie's domestic violence to hate Diddy. You really don't need Cassie's domestic violence to hate Diddy. People, there is a million different reasons to hate Diddy other than Cassie. People, you need to accept the truth of for what this is. Cassie is not a victim of that RICO. She is most certainly a victim of domestic violence, yes. She is certainly a victim of domestic physical abuse, yes, people. But it's not because of those sexual encounters. It's because she was in a relationship with a super rich and powerful man who was also horribly toxic and a drug addict. Those are the recipes for domestic violence. When you're constantly in a relationship with someone who is drugged up all the time, emotionally imbalanced, and has a super ego, women, You're gonna get your behind kicked. You know why? Because the second you don't do something that man likes, he's gonna put his hands, feet, and legs up your behind and make you do it. See, you need to understand something, people. Rich men, they use money to control women. But once the money don't work, they don't have the finesse to control women. You know why? Because they've been using money their entire life to control women. This is when these guys get violent. People, I've been broke in my life and I've had money. I've learned how to bag women with no money, and I've learned how to bag them with a lot of money. And the one thing I can tell you definitively is that my relationships that I started out broke and came into money with the woman were always better than relationships I started out with a lot of money and then me and the girl started dating. Because people, you always have problems. People get used to people. Familiarity breeds contempt. Cassie was probably amazed at Diddy when she first dated him. She thought she was dating God, but after a while she realized that he was a fallible man and he was imperfect partner in these free calls. But so was Cassie. Cassie set them up. Cassie.
Didn't realize it was going to cut off like that, but you get the gist, fam. You see what's going on. You can, but it was like, man, Cassie is no angel, and yeah, she was a victim when she got abused. She was a victim when this happened or that happened, but that didn't happen because of the freak-offs. The freak-off was something that she enjoyed. And that right there, she actually admitted to enjoying the freak-offs. She said she didn't enjoy it, but she did say she didn't enjoy it all the time. She didn't enjoy the freak-offs all the time, but she did admit to enjoying the freak-offs. Sometimes she did admit to that. That's her words. And if you're going to call, let's say Sabrina, I don't want to use any, I don't want to mess somebody's name up out there, but I'm just a random chick, let's use an alias. If you're going to call Diamond a hoe, because Diamond sleeps with guys for money, and Diamond messes with different dudes in the strip club, and she's always with different dudes and high rollers and this whatever, you gotta call Cassie one. If you're opening your legs to multiple men, a week. I mean, this ain't even a year. This ain't a month. This is a year. This is, a week, weekly. This is weekly. Cassie, by her own admission, said almost every week for 10 years, we had freak-offs. So I agree. That may be an unpopular position, but I agree. Cassie may not be a hoe now, but Cassie was a hoe at that time. She was a hoe. Just like any other person, whether it be a female or male, if they were behaving in the way that Cassie was behaving, if they were being promiscuous, like Cassie was being promiscuous, they would be a hoe. And y'all know what it is. I don't understand why Cassie gets so much latitude and benefit of doubt. I don't understand why she gets so much. And I do believe, it's just my thinking, that Cassie is getting all of this consideration because she's of mixed descent. She's not a black woman. She's mixed. She's more Latina. So if Cassie was just a black woman, black mama, black daddy, I don't think that Cassie would have all this support that she has. You know why? Because I've seen how people respond when black women accuse black men of harming them. I don't think I've seen in recent time nobody riding for a black woman the way that people been riding for Cassie. I have not seen that. So I'm just stating facts. This is not even my opinions. I'm just stating facts. So if I see something happening, then and I have an issue with it, even if I don't have an issue with it, if I see it happen and I have to analyze it, something this big, this is a huge case, so everybody's talking about it, right? This is news. This is not gossip. This is news. So everybody's talking about this. So I have an opinion about this because, okay, I'm going to take a look at this and I'm going to try to be as objective about this as possible. If I look at this case and I say, well, Cassie is accusing Diddy of doing this, that, and the third. But I know from my experience with women that you're not going to get your main woman to do things that she don't want to do every damn week after week after week after week for 10 years. That's not how it goes. Diddy is a prominent man with money. He got the kind of money that he can change a woman's life overnight, literally. Boom, like magic. He can get beautiful women all over the world. It's not difficult at all, especially when you start talking about a Diddy in his 20s, a Diddy in his 30s, when Diddy was on fire, when he met Cassie, on fire. Women line the corners, man, do anything you want them to do. You do not have to force a woman to do these freaky things. There are women out there who would do these freaky things, who wants to do these freaky things. And they are beautiful women who wants to do freaky stuff. You don't have to force them. So that's why when I first heard about the case, it didn't make sense to me that he was forcing her to do all of this stuff for 10 years. And this was his main squeeze. At some point, she became his main squeeze. And they going to Vanity Fair parties together. They're going to the MetLife party together. They're going to all of these major events together. Sometimes you see her without him. So obviously she's not being held captive. Obviously nobody's walking around. She don't have chains on her feet and hands. So yeah, he obviously manipulated her to an extent. But at some point, that didn't work, right? Because at some point she actually left and never came back. She decided, I'm leaving, I'm not coming back. That was 10 years after the relationship. So one might say, so you saying she could leave 10 years after the relationship, why she didn't leave 9 years after the relationship started? Why she didn't leave 8 years after the relationship started? How many years do you need before you finally catch your snap? You're doing everything else as an adult. You know right from wrong. At what point are you accountable for your part? At what point are you held accountable for your part? Okay, I was manipulated. Me and my friend was together, and he pulled out a gun and said, we're gonna rob this place. We finna go rob this place. And I need you to drive. And I'm scared, I don't want to drive. Nigga, you gonna drive that car, I'm gonna kill you. Okay, man, okay. He come out with the bag. Drive. We get away, we split up the money. And then we do it again. I'm scared of him now because he'd have killed him. Then sooner or later, I start giving my input. Hey man, don't you think it'd be better if I just park right over here? I think I can get away faster if I park over here. I start participating. I start coming up with ideas of my own. Are you picking up what I'm putting down? No, Cassie was not innocent. She may have been a victim. She not may have, but she was a victim when she was being beaten. She was a victim then. But making these phone calls and calling to surprise Diddy with a freak off because it's his birthday or his Father's Day, you ain't no victim. You're an accomplice. Clayton want his money. Clayton want his money. A lot of people are saying he don't deserve nothing. He was a escort. You're a male escort. You don't deserve nothing. Well, why did Cassie deserve some money? Cassie was his girlfriend who was giving it up, and she was wanting it. She wanted the sex. She wanted it, according to the people who were in the room with her. That's what she wanted. And according to her, she did say she participated willfully. She making phone calls on her own. She making the payments and all kinds of stuff. She on the phone with a dude and telling the dude, can he come and knock her down? He said, look, I ain't gonna be able to come to damn with my family. Okay, can you send somebody else? You know anybody else who can come? See, when I was a kid, I used to get fooled by you could fool me with just a pretty face. You might be able to fool me. When I say kid, I mean like teenager, early 20s, like 20, 21, 22. You could fool me with just a pretty face. Yeah, but by the time I got to that 24, 25, like, I know it's deeper than that. It's deeper than that pretty face. So you can't fool me with that. And for a lot of people, that's all it takes is just a cute face. That's why a lot of dudes, when they look at Stacey Dash, I've heard over the years do it. Man, she a coon, but I'll still do it. I'll do her. Man, how you get excited for a coon? If she a coon is detrimental to your community. A coconut is detrimental. They're toxic. How you gonna get up for somebody that's toxic? Somebody that caused the kind of damage that she causes. How can you get excited for that? That just lets me know you ain't about nothing. That lets me know you ain't got no standards. Yeah, that's what that lets me know. That lets me know you have no honor. And you don't really care about your people like you say you do. Because if you did, you wouldn't frolic with people who bring harm to your people. Let's talk about this uncivilized mutt in Texas who was arrested after a video showed her admitting to locking her 22-year-old disabled foster daughter in a dog kennel. Boy, fam. We are truly living amongst the uncivilized.
Kid in a dog kennel.
Yes, because he's tearing up everything.
You really think locking a kid in a special needs kid? A special needs kid. Locking her up in a dog kennel?
I'm going to put this dog in there.
No, you understand how that is on a special needs kid? To where I get home and I hear somebody screaming like that? Yeah, look at your face. You hear that precious child? And I know you have more than just her that's special needs. And I can hear you calling them the R word. And locking them in a freaking dog kennel. Are you serious?
What are you scared of?
She's locked into a kennel, bro. That's what she's scared of. That's wrapped up that you cannot see. That's what she's scared of. Somebody the mom that's supposed to protect their kid. Can you see me right here?
Yeah.
Hey, I'm so sorry.
Are you one of the police officers?
No, ma'am. I'm not. I'm your neighbor. Okay. I'm your neighbor, and I've heard you so many times. I've got you help, okay? This happens a few times or a lot?
It's happened a lot.
A lot?
And I'm scared.
I know. You right?
Yeah.
Okay, hey. Hey, it's okay. Tell him what you just told me, okay? It's okay.
We're here now. Okay?
Breathe.
I ain't got no problem with the neighbor who recorded that uncivilized mutt in action. It is neighbors like that who we all need. It is neighbors like that who understands that when you harm a child, when you harm a member of our community, it now becomes my business. What you do in your house is your business. But what you do to a member of that household is our business. It's all of our business. And a lot of y'all better start understanding that. You better start understanding that, because the last thing that you want in this society that we live in is a society where people can think they can walk right up to an old woman and slap her, and everybody's supposed to just be quiet and act like they didn't see anything, because you can get hurt like that. The last thing that you want is a society where you can have an uncivilized mutt who can just walk up to a woman and hit her in the head and knock her on the ground, pull up her clothes off, and start raping her right there in the middle of the street on the sidewalk. This happened in New York a couple of times, and they did one dude really dirty. But a woman was assaulted, sexually assaulted on the sidewalk. Another woman was sexually assaulted in her, well, not in her, but on someone else's front lawn as she was walking down the sidewalk. You do not want to live in a society like that. So it's going to require people to have some damn guts, to have some nuts. People got to start just looking out for each other, because however bad you think it is sticking up for somebody else, speaking on something, see something, say something, however bad you think that is, however bad you think the consequences could be, the negative consequences could be, hey, it'll be a 1,000 times worse if you don't look out for each other. I had a neighbor just last week send me a video of someone coming through the gate, approaching my house. And I had a neighbor next to me, and she couldn't see where the guy went. The view was obstructed by the trees, so she couldn't tell where he went. Well, when I looked at my cameras, first of all, I didn't get an alert. So I get an alert when anybody step on my property. I get an alert. I didn't get an alert. So I assumed that he couldn't have came to my property, but he ended up going to the neighbor's property. And I saw that. That's where he went. Those are the type of neighbors that you need. I had a neighbor years ago, this white, I had a townhouse in Houston, and this neighbor called me, and she said, this is one of these neighborhoods, this is crazy. This is one of the neighborhoods where, this first neighborhood I ever lived in, where they have a list of the homeowners' names and phone numbers. You have their name and contact. The people in the neighborhood got your name and your contact. Well, it came in handy one day. She called me and she said, it's an old white woman. She said, Willie, I don't know if you're home, but there's a guy who's parked outside of your house, and he's in a brown car, and he's been out there. He's been out there quite a bit. He's been out there for at least about 15 minutes, and I've never seen that car in front of your house before. So I just wanted to let you know. And I wrote down the license plate number. I happen to be home. Now, if you don't know me, you may not know that I'm the dude in the Cedric the Entertainer comedy special where he said, "I wish a motherfucker would." I think that was it was either his comedy special or was it Kings of Comedy? One of them. Cedric the Entertainer said, black people be like, he was talking about how black people be when they go to an arena late, for a show. They go to a show, a concert or something. They show up late or whatever, and they be like wishing somebody is sitting in their seat. I wish I'm that dude when it comes to stepping on my property, doing anything where you think you're finna take advantage of anybody around, where I live, like it's not happening. So I put it on me and I walk outside. I hit the window. It's a dude sitting in the car, in the driver's seat. And I say, can I help you? He's like, "Oh no, my wife is she's cleaning the house next door." And I said, "Oh, okay, all right." Checked it out, communicated that to my neighbor, and all was well. And that was another incident where we actually had a real situation with a peeping Tom and caught up with dude. It wasn't pretty. Got him extracted from the neighborhood. It was over. It was made his whole family move out of the neighborhood and everything. It was swift. It was no games being played about it whatsoever. But I said that to say, you need neighbors who look out for each other. You need the type of neighbors like that neighbor who filmed that little girl being put. Well, she's not a little girl, but I guess I think they said that she was 22 years old, but she's a special needs girl. Yeah, she's special needs. But she was put into the cage. You need neighbors who will stand up for neighbors. When you have neighbors that are stand up for neighbors, you're least likely to have outsiders come in and try to bogart and bully and push people around. When I was living in Azerbaijan, Baku, Azerbaijan, I told this story before, but some of you missed it. But I saw this guy getting beat up by like 50, 60 people in the neighborhood. And I told my driver to go back and check it out, drop me off at home, go back and see what went down. He comes back and tells me the guy had beat up his girlfriend, and the neighborhood jumped him. The entire neighborhood jumped him. They was not afraid about consequences and what he might do and this and whatever. They're like, "No, you're not doing that in our neighborhood. We don't play that." They beat the brakes off his ass. It was old people. It was old ladies beating him with broomstick and mop handles. They was beating him in slow motion. Like, bam! Little kids was kicking him. Grown men, teenage boys were, they knocked the hinges off his ass. So that's why they don't have those type of incidents often. Whereas in America, it's commonplace. So look out for your neighbor, and your neighbor will look out for you. The uncivilized mutt was arrested. So according to the Anson Police Department, the arrest followed a confrontation captured on video by neighbor Justin Anderson, who said he repeatedly heard cries coming from the home and eventually decided to step in. Officers responding to the call found the young woman who has physical disabilities confined in the locked kennel, crying for help and trying to break free. The 60-year-old foster caregiver, Candace Thompson, remember that name, Candace Thompson, was taken into custody and faces multiple felony charges, including aggravated kidnapping and injury to a disabled individual. Good job all the way around, Justin Anderson. You're doing God's work. You did God's work, brother. That's how it go. That's how you look after each other. That's how we look after each other. All these damn cowards. A lot of people say, well, you got to mind your own business, man. Nah, a lot of these dudes, when they talk that mind your own business, look, I get it, mind your own business within reason. Within reason. But a lot of times people say mind your own business because really they're cowards and they don't want to risk anything. They're just cowards. That's really what that's about. We got a 15-year-old boy who is accused of taking the lives of his ex-girlfriend's mother, her 9-year-old brother, and her 13-year-old sister. This is a horrible, horrible case.
Suspect is a 15-year-old male that had a former relationship with the daughter involved, the daughter of the 15-year-old daughter in the family.
The 15-year-old suspect shot his ex-girlfriend's mother, 39-year-old Jessica Rodriguez, and her 2 siblings, a 9-year-old brother and a 13-year-old sister.
He was taken into custody approximately 40 minutes after the shooting happened on Andrews Highway. He has been in custody since that time. He still is in custody at their county youth center.
The 15-year-old is being charged with 1 count of capital murder of multiple persons. OPD says that this was a targeted incident.
I need to assure everyone that this is a targeted thing. This was not random where someone was just picked out. Also, not an active shooter event. We knew who the actor was almost immediately, so we were on the lookout for them. Unfortunately, and we've seen that here in Odessa before, evil does visit us from time to time. And I think that's what happened yesterday. Evil visited us one more time.
I would like to make a correction there. Evil does not visit us from time to time. Evil has permanent residency in the United States of America. Evil has permanent residency. It does not visit. It is all around. It is pervasive. It is all around us. It is next door. It is at school. It is at church. There is no refuge. There's no way. There used to be places we could go to feel safe. Remember that, fam? There used to be places that our children could go and feel safe. Like when I went to school, I felt safe, except for the occasional fight, had to fight somebody, whatever. I know it's going to go down. It's got to go down, we're going to be fighting. But overall, as long as I didn't have beef with somebody, I felt safe. That was a time when you could go to church and you could feel safe. You didn't need security at churches. You didn't have to have armed security. The deacons were enough. Man, you get a couple of strong-armed deacons, man, that's enough, man. The deacons is the reinforcement. Pastor didn't have to have any protection. But now, there's different reasons that you need protection. You need cops at churches. Some of these pastors need police to keep the congregation off their ass because these pastors are out here scamming the people and stealing money and all kinds of stuff. So that's a whole different ball of wax. But that was a time when you could go to church and feel relatively safe. Not anymore. You're literally sitting in church, and every time somebody walked through that door, after everybody's seated, when somebody walked through the door, it might catch your attention and you turn and, you're trying to see who coming in late. But now every time somebody walked through, you're like trying to make sure, you look and make sure they're all right. They're supposed to be in there, right? It's bad, man. It's bad. That was a time when you could even go to the grocery store and feel safe. You never thought about getting shot at the grocery store, right? Maybe if you live in a neighborhood and you had to walk to the grocery store, that could be an adventure. But just going to a grocery store, especially a sizable grocery store, a branded grocery store like a Ralph's or a Kroger or a Randall's or something like that, any of those stores that are branded, you would, even Whole Foods, you'd feel safe. But you can't even walk through any of the, I don't care how high class they're supposed to be or whatever, you cannot walk into those establishments and feel safe unless you're the type of person who don't really practice situation awareness. Perhaps that's not you, but I know that's me. I don't even go, even restaurants. I don't like sitting in restaurants, especially those low to mid-tier restaurants. I don't like sitting inside of those restaurants eating because most of them don't even have security. Anybody can walk in and just pull out a hammer and start shooting. So, I'm not living my life in a constant state of fear, but I think it's better to be safe than sorry. And I guess I am paranoid to an extent, but I'd rather be paranoid than dead. I know that you got to be aware. You got to have your head on the swivel these days. That's the type of world that we live in. This little dude's 15 years old, and he kills his girlfriend's mother and her daughter and son. What an uncivilized mutt. He killed the girlfriend's mama and her siblings because she didn't want to be with his stank ass. Who raised him? Somebody raised him with a sense of entitlement. Somebody raised him without telling him how relationships go. Men, it's incumbent upon you to talk to your sons and let them know how they go. These relationships, they could be 50-50, could be 90-10, as far as will they work out or will they not? They might work out, they might not work out. The honest truth, the more honest you are with your children about relationships, the better they are in accepting imminent rejection, because rejection is coming. Rejection, failed relationships, it's all part of taking that leap of faith. It all goes together. Somebody should have told him, look, kid, date as many as you want, pick one. When you're done, pick one. You're going to pick that one, pick her, and stick with that and leave it at that. But understand this, you don't own her, she don't own you. The relationship y'all could go all the way, or y'all can break up tomorrow. She can say that I love you today, you can say I love you, and then you can walk away next week, next month, next year. She can walk away next week, next month, next year, no matter what she tells you, no matter what you buy for her, no matter what y'all do together. You don't own her, she don't own you. If y'all gonna date each other, it's important to understand that. Teach your children how to deal with rejection. If you don't do it for them, do it for yourself. Because they say one of the worst losses that a person can experience is the loss of a child. So give your child that information so that your child don't put you through that type of grief. You do not want to experience that. That is an unimaginable grief. You do not want to have to deal with something like that. 15 years old. He's looking to kill the girl, so he can't find her. He can't get to her. He decides, well, I'm just going to shoot her mama. Like, where you get that from? You're going to shoot the girl mama. You're going to shoot a brother and a sister. Where you get that from? What? Once a person brain go there, they're done. That uncivilized mutt, that's the uncivilized mutt that's 15. When they commit a crime like that, that's when you say, oh, definitely got to be charged as an adult. You cannot let that uncivilized mutt back out on the streets in 6 years. Somebody that demented, they're gone. They're too far gone. We gonna put him down. Yeah, it's time. He got to go. No two ways about it. No ifs, ands, or buts. He got to go. He is unfit to live amongst the civilized. I'll tell you somebody else who people are saying is unfit to live amongst the civilized. Donald Trump, your president. Yeah, fam. They say this dude is unfit to live amongst the civilized. Yeah, they like, man, this dude right here, Donald Trump, he got to go. So check this out, family. The Epstein files continue to release never before seen videos and photos. So they got this photograph of Trump and all these girls, young girls. They blocked them out. They blocked their faces out because they're victims. Yeah. Here we go. New photos from Epstein's personal collection show Trump, Clinton, and more. Trump, Clinton, and more. Okay. A newly released batch of images shows the rich and powerful people with whom convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein socialized and other glimpses of his lifestyle. The updated photographs are from Epstein's email account and computer, according to Democrats on the House Oversight Committee, who published the photographs on Friday. The images shows Donald Trump before he became president standing with 6 women whose faces have been redacted at a party wearing Hawaiian-inspired, what's that word? I don't even know that word. I ain't gonna try it. Another photograph of the president who was a real estate agent, a real estate developer, and friend of Epstein at the time, shows him speaking with a woman at a party. Epstein stands beside Trump in a third photo. Trump appears seated next to a blonde woman whose face has been redacted. Is that her right here? And then here we go again with Trump. Here we go again. Here's the other images. Epstein, who sexually assaulted women and underage girls at his home and one of his private islands in the Caribbean, also kept images of sex toys, according to the new release. One of the photographs shows novelty condoms with Trump's likeness on them, spread out on a table. Behind the table reads a sign that says, Trump condom, $4.50. $1.50. The House Oversight Committee said in a statement that there are thousands of photographs of women at Epstein properties in the latest batch. They also noted that names of potential victims and identifiers have been redacted. The latest collection contains more than 95,000 images, with 19 being released Friday. Nah, fam, only 19 out of 95,000? They're never going to release all those images. They're never going to release all those images. It is time to end this White House cover-up and bring justice to the survivors of Jeffrey Epstein and his powerful friends. Ranking Member Robert Garcia, Democratic California, said in a press release, these disturbing photos raise even more questions about Epstein and his relationships with some of the most powerful men in the world. We will not rest until the American people get the truth. The Department of Justice must release all the files now. Once again, House Democrats are selectively releasing cherry-picked photos with random redactions to try and create a false narrative, White House spokeswoman Abigail Jackson said in response to a PBS News request for comment. Here's the reality. Democrats like Stacey Plaskett and Hakeem Jeffries were soliciting money and meeting from Epstein after he was a convicted sex offender. The Democrat hoax against President Trump has been repeatedly debunked, and the Trump administration has done more for Epstein's victims than Democrats ever have by repeatedly calling for transparency, releasing thousands of pages of documents, and calling for future investigations into Epstein's Democrat friends. It's time for the media to stop regulating Democrat talking points and start asking Democrats why they wanted to hang around Epstein after he was convicted. So here's the thing, fam. Epstein hung around Democrats and Republicans. Epstein hung around liberals and conservatives. Epstein hung around money. Epstein didn't care about all that other stuff, man. Epstein was hanging around money. So money was the only prerequisite to being cool with Epstein and getting a chance to land on that island of candy and young honey. Money. There's a pic with Clinton. There he is. I did not have sexual relations with that woman. Is that Richard? That's Richard. Oh, man. Okay. Yeah. Maybe that's what inspired Rich to buy his island. Here's some of the sex toys. What the hell is that? What's that? What's going on here? Let me see. Extreme restraints. Woman on woman, some rope. PUSSY pump. Damn, what kind of glove is that? What the hell? What the hell? Damn. This should have came with a warning sign. Hey, I ain't never seen a glove like that. They call that must be called the love glove. That must be a love glove. That's wild. That's the love glove. Y'all think that's Trump hand? It's a big ass vein in that hand. Look at that thing. The jawbreaker gag. Terms and conditions. Disclaimer warranty. Always observe a person who has a gag in their mouth. Never leave that person unattended. The jaw gagger gag will cause a person's mouth to produce more saliva than a regular gag and create a choking hazard if the person is unattended or inverted for any reason. It is possible for a person to vomit and suffocate even while standing, so extreme care and caution must be exercised with the use of this product. Failure to follow instructions could result in injury or death. Never leave a person with a jawbreaker gag in their mouth unattended. It's damn near sounded like a commercial. Never leave a person with a jawbreaker gag in their mouth. That's the jawbreaker gag. Okay, what else they got? Got Trump condoms? Hold on. Let's see. Well, according to that, they might be able to fight this one. He might be able to fight this one because according to that stripper, was she a stripper or an adult porn star? What's the girl? I can't say her name, but the one that he allegedly used campaign funds to pay for when he had to buy the booty. Well, according to her, he's not huge. That's what she said. So he can get off right there. He can get on. He can beat that. Yeah, he can beat that. Who is that over there? Is that Woody Allen? What? Woody in the house. Got Woody Allen up in there. Steve Bannon, well, you know how he get down, so that's not a surprise. Is that? Oh, okay. I was about to say, I thought that was Spielberg for a moment. Boy was getting some had a real director producing them films. So what's this about? Oh yeah, like pictures of, maybe pictures of the victims. It says, in this updated photograph from the personal collection of convicted sex offender Jeffrey Epstein, tech mogul Bill Gates appears in a framed photo hanging on the wall in a living space. Several other photos are visible with the identities of individuals redacted. The photo from Epstein's estate was released Friday by the Democrats on the House Oversight Committee. Bill Gates' creepy ass. Boy, that's evil right there. Have you ever seen evil? That's evil. What? Bill Gates and Prince Andrew. Prince Andrew. Look at Bill Gates like, I told Melinda I don't need her anymore. I just came back with my tank on E, baby. Yeah. Yeah, I remember this dude, huh? Alan Derkowitz. So those are all the photos that they're showing so far, fam. They got more. They said 95,000 photos. You know they're not going to release them. They're not going to release all those photos. But here we are, fam. That's where we are. And another wild 24 hours in America. Y'all think we're going to survive this? Y'all think we're going to survive? We got a lot of work, man. We got a lot of work to do. Justin McCullinka. Justin McCullinka. Amazing Love. Eric Baum. Connie Hodge. Cyber Trader. Maybe the coach can coach the prison team. He ain't going to prison, bro. They're going to send that dude to get a little psychiatric care and send him back on his way. He ain't going to prison. That's not even a remote possibility. We are. All right, time. That's time, fam. I appreciate y'all joining the live, fam. Until next time. What's up, Vicky Slaughter? Koozie Jacuzzi. Koozie Jacuzzi. What's up? I am Aaliyah K. What it do? First word fist. What's up? Cambria Ali. Sharon, I see you. All right, fam. That's my time. China Carter. Peace. 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 Connie Hodge. Pure Michigan. Pure Michigan. From your to you be. From you are to you be. Okay. What's up? All right. That's my time, fam. Appreciate y'all. Look, same bad time, same bad channel tomorrow, 2 p.m. Central. That's 3 p.m. Eastern. That's 12 p.m. Pacific time. All right. Same bad time, same bad channel. We're going in. That's my time, fam. Enjoy the rest of your morning, afternoon, or evening, wherever you are in the world. No more talk.